Hi, it's Future from Soulmate. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to be showing you how to draft a cloth block pattern from a skirt block. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do, and make sure to turn on your notification bell so that you get notified each time I upload new videos. You will need a basic skirt block pattern to do this. I'll leave a link in the description below and a link above as well. So starting with the front skirt, we're going to make sure to leave some space at the center front here and trace around your block as usual, making sure to mark the dot and the notches. Lift the block, draw in your dot, and square in your hip line. At the waistline, we're going to outline our 1 centimeter seam allowance. Now from the seam allowance, we're going to measure down for our hip depth. You get this by sitting on a hard surface and measuring from your waist down to the top of that hard surface. Add 1.5 centimeter each to that amount. Now square a line using this point and make sure you extend it a little further at center front. So we have a 1.5 centimeter seam allowance included on our block. So I'm just gonna mark 1.5 centimeters there and put a mark. Now measure from this point to the center front. Whatever amount you get from there, we're going to divide it by 4 so that we get our crotch extension for the front. So a quarter of that hip amount. Put a mark. Coming to the corner, we're going to mark a nice diagonal line there, and we're going to measure 3 centimeters along that line. Put a mark. Now we're going to be connecting these 3 points with a nice curve like I'm doing here. Coming to this point, we're going to square a line straight down. Now extend the hemline and put in your hem allowance. Now we're going to add seam allowances to the crotch seam and to the inseam. So I prefer 1 centimeter for the crotch seam and 1.5 centimeters for the inseam. Connect all the other lines. Drawing in my grain line parallel to the original center front. Now adding notches to the pattern and labeling my pattern. Front basic cloth block, and I put my initial. Cut around your pattern. Our front pattern is finished. Now we're moving on to the back. Make sure to leave some space at the center back like we did with the front. Now trace around your block as usual, making sure to mark the dot and the notches. Lift your block. Draw in your dot. Square in your hip line. Now I'm outlining the waist seam allowance like we did with the front 1 centimeter. Measuring from the seam allowance down for our hip depth plus 1.5 centimeter ease. Put a mark and square a line across, making sure to extend it a little further beyond the center back. As you can see, we've got a center back seam and a side seam. So first we're going to outline our center back seam 1.5 centimeters to the crotch line, and I'm going to put a mark to show the seam allowance there. Now measure from this mark to the center back seam and divide that amount by 3. So a third of our hip allowance there. Mine is 11 centimeters. From this point, we're going to go on and draw a diagonal line again like we did with the front. And this time we're going to put 4 centimeters, okay? 3 for the front and 4 for the back. Join these 3 points with a nice curve. So we're going to use this point to square a line down to the hemline and connect our hemline to this line, outline our hem allowance, then adding a seam allowance to the inseam and to the crotch seam. So 1 centimeter for the crotch seam and 1.5 centimeters for the inseam. So this part is not included in our pattern anymore. And adding notches to the pattern piece. We're going to ignore this line here. Drawing in my grain line parallel to our original center back line. And labeling our pattern. Back basic culottes block. And I put my initial. Cut around your pattern. And our back culottes block pattern is finished. Now all our pattern pieces are finished. Thank you.